Okay, the Brazos County Commissioners Court will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, November the 19th at 9:30 in the Commissioners Courtroom in the County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106. The county will hear public comments related to amending the Brazos County Property Assessed Clean Energy PACE program. And Allison, you want to start us out?
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners, good morning. I just wanted to preface this hearing by letting everybody know that this is an amendment and an update to a resolution that the county commissioners adopted back in October 2016. As the judge said, PACE stands for the Property Assessed Clean Energy Act. It can be found in the Texas Local Government Code 399. And we needed to amend and update because obviously it's been 8 years, but we also wanted to add an additional authorized representative to our program. There's only, that I know of, 2 authorized representatives in the state, and now they're both going to be working with us and the county to implement this program. Okay?
Okay, all right. Thank you. And then Charlene Haydinger. Yeah, Charlene, you've got a short presentation to kind of tell us a little about the PACE program. I know y'all kind of got this thing started, I believe.
Yes, sir. And Mr. McCormick and Mr. Silva are here as well.
Okay.
My name is Charlene Heidinger.
If you could speak into the microphone, please.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. My name is Charlene Heidinger. I'm the president of Texas PACE Authority, and we are thrilled to be here with the county today. Texas PACE Authority is a nonprofit. We were created in 2015 only after it became clear that local governments, it was not reasonable to expect local governments to put their own resources into this. We built a team of experts. There are over 100 years of government service in our nonprofit. We created this to be a public service, that if we were public servants and we administered this program for local governments so that everybody else could make money, we would act as the local government. And that's our MO, and that's not going to change. Our board has 2 former county judges, the CEO of the Texas Economic Development Council, a gentleman, John Hall, who's the chair of the 2 predecessor agencies of the TCEQ. We have finance experts, and we have the Dallas Fed's sustainability director. We have the CEO of a chemical company, actually a national chemical company. We serve 103 local governments, including Brazos as of today, and we facilitated a couple million short of $500 million of new energy and water saving improvements. So the idea is if we can help your businesses and your nonprofits lower their operating costs by using less energy and water, we make them stronger businesses, we improve your air quality, but we also free up energy and water for all of your other businesses and nonprofits. That's the goal here. And we last year were named the outstanding nonprofit at the Texas Energy Summit at the Capitol, and we've been receiving awards since we got started in 2015. So we come to this as a total public servant, and that's what we've committed to do, and to serve all of Texas. This can only be used for energy, water, saving measures, or creating power on site, and it can only be used by businesses and nonprofits. And that's designed to have sophisticated users so the program won't be abused. It's an assessment. You are creating a Brazos County lien on the property. You place that lien, you hold that lien, and you enforce that lien. And so this is something we take very seriously on behalf of all taxpayers. The good news is there's no taxpayer dollars involved here. You can see the market that we serve. We are delighted to grow in this way. We committed to serve markets whether they have big projects or not. And we are committed to serving all of Texas. So I love this quote because I don't think I had any idea what I was getting involved in 2012 when I was hired to get this statute passed. But I did become so wrapped up in this that I forgot to be afraid. And what I want to point out in this slide is that we have closed projects in 35 cities in Texas. We're not just chasing big projects in big urban areas. And we're not just going to show up here when one of your big developers has a project, although we are working with 2 wonderful developers in Brazos County now that they're paying attention. This was very hard in 2016 when we first got here because money was free, and water was free, and energy was free. And as we've gone through COVID and interest rates have gone up, people who weren't paying attention to PACE are now paying attention to it. And we really believe we will be able to serve your businesses. Also, now that PACE is getting some attention, the Texas Real Estate Research Center at Texas A&M featured PACE and Texas PACE Authority in their spring issue. And that's bringing more attention as well. So you can see from the slide our growth. I really thought it would be by now, but by the end of the month, we will have crossed $500 million in new investment in property in Texas. We create a webpage for every single local government that tracks the success in your local government. We have brought our training for contractors, architects, and engineers online. Businesses can't use it if they don't have local resources that understand the program. Our program guide, our flyers, our case studies are also available in Spanish. Our website is now available in multiple languages. We have a list of the trained service providers, all the PACE lenders, companies who offer other helpful services, and a list of the consenting senior lenders. The senior lender has to agree. And so we've worked with the Brazos Valley EDC to reach out to your banks to get them more comfortable with the program, not only so they'll consent as senior lenders, but that they'll become PACE lenders as well. We are one of a handful of PACE administrators approved by HUD, a handful in the country, to be able to use this on multifamily FHA and HUD properties. That only took 6 years, but we're committed to serve all of Texas. We're working with RioCog out in the El Paso area with a state energy conservation grant to figure out how to open this program to more banks so that more small businesses have access to it. So the idea here is that these are tough loans for lenders because the collateral is bad. You can't come and take somebody's HVAC system if they don't pay. So to reduce costs, banks like to get their money back quickly. So they have a small number of expensive installments. And that creates what I call the tower of pain because you have a cash flow problem before you get to the savings. All PACE does is knock the tower over. So the owners have a larger number of smaller payments so they can use the savings to make the payments. That's the idea. They still have to pay it back, but you've created a mechanism that reduces the risk for the lenders so the lenders are willing to have longer loans so that the payments are smaller. And we're taking old buildings across the state and bringing them back to life and putting them on the tax rolls. And downtown Bryan is a perfect example of beautiful buildings that have access to this program. So far, they haven't chosen to use it. There are several that have come close, and either their local banks aren't comfortable or they've had other reservations. But as interest rates come down, we expect to see more renovations of existing buildings, while there's also a new use of the program for new construction. This is how we see the program. You've selected us to do your quality control. We will not cross that line into the private sector because you need to know that our decisions are not tainted in any way, that they're objective and that they're transparent. So that's a firewall. All the power is in the hands of the owners. They choose their lenders, they choose their capital providers, and we'll do everything we can to support that process and bring it home so that the county gets those benefits. These are generally cash flow positive from the beginning. We have high ethical standards that we will continue to apply. The PACE loans, because of the mechanism you've created, are lower interest rate than equity or mezzanine loans, so they're very popular for new construction, and these get rehabs. PACE can also be used with new market tax credits, historic tax credits, opportunity zone funding, TIF funding, everything that's out there complements PACE, including the USDA Rural Energy for America program grants, which we've had a wonderful year working with USDA in rural projects. So just want to run through these quickly. It's not advancing. All right, the rest of the slides were examples for you. While the PACE loan community wants larger and larger and larger projects, we have closed the largest project in Texas, which was $48.5 million new hotel in downtown San Antonio. We've also done office buildings, mall rehabs. This is the old Falstaff Brewery in Galveston. This was our first opportunity to work with the USDA in a feed store in Elgin. We've done theaters. And I'm just going to stop there because it's not advancing. An old office building in Temple is now apartments, post-Harvey flood apartments. This former church is now a campus for a nonprofit college in Galveston. We're seeing storefronts be redone in some of our Main Street downtowns. I'm very excited about this use. Out on the border in Laredo, boutique hotel, old office buildings becoming much needed apartments. The El Paso Plaza Hotel, where Elizabeth Taylor lived for about 6 seconds, is now back on the tax rolls, creating 161 permanent jobs in El Paso. So that's the other thing that we didn't appreciate, is bringing these properties back to life also create places for jobs. And I am going to stop there and answer any questions if you have them. And thank you again for the opportunity to serve the county.
Okay.
Thank you.
Questions?
No questions.
Oh, and Judge Peters, I'd like to thank you for your leadership on this really early in 2016, before a lot of people really understood the opportunities here. Commissioner Aldrich came over and testified as a city council member in support of this. Former Commissioner Irma Cawley was the one that really led the charge on behalf of your contracting community. So we really have deep roots here and are very thankful to you for that.
All right. Thank you, Shirley. All right.
We just have the other authorized representative that wants to speak.
Okay. Come on up. Give us your name and...
Hey, good morning, Judge Peters and Commissioners. Lee McCormick with Lone Star PACE, President Lone Star PACE, and also joining me today is Glenn Silva, our Chief Operating Officer. Do not have a presentation. I do have our annual reports. If it's okay, I'd like to hand those out to the commissioners. Judge and Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity of being here today and to speak for the update to the Brazos County Property Assessed Clean Energy Program Report, as well as the county's consideration of adding Lone Star PACE as a second administrator. A little bit about Lone Star PACE. We are not a nonprofit. We actually are a registered municipal advisory firm. So we are regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission and Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board. Our principals have been doing program administration for local governments since 2003. We've done over $40 billion of private activity bonds, new market tax credits, recovery zone facility bonds around the country. We have currently dealt with projects here in Texas on PACE in 21 jurisdictions, which are our clients. For this year, 2024, Lone Star PACE has done a variety of projects, multifamily, hospitality, light industrial, and even some biomedical projects in the state. We've closed roughly $180 million of financing in the 21 municipalities. And one thing we like to point out is we do have a strong background in the commercial real estate market, as well as in the capital markets, which when you look at PACE, PACE is a terrific funding program for energy and water efficiency improvements, but it does bring together property owners, capital, and the real estate environment. So our team actually does quite well. I think TPA, who spoke earlier, has done around $30 million this year, where we've done $180 million, even though TPA has over 100 locations that they serve, and we serve 22. So From our perspective, Brazos County gets the best of both worlds when it comes to having both administrators. You have two groups that are working on the county's behalf, two groups that have experience really in different areas, one from the governmental political side and one from the business side. So it's a win-win, we think, for the county. We'd like to thank the county's legal staff for taking a look at the documents and incorporating some protections that Lone Star PACE's documents have for the county, mainly subordination of the PACE assessments to the city and county ad valorem taxes in the event of default. So the updated documents you have now in the event of default and foreclosure, if there's not enough cash available to pay both ad valorem taxes and the PACE assessment, the ad valorem taxes get paid first. In addition, in the owner-lender contracts, we worked with the legal staff to make sure that there were specific indemnification and release language in there that was not in there previously. There is protections in the statutes, but we think it's important to make sure the city and counties are protected as well, in that having that in the contracts, the owners and lenders are actually signing on behalf of themselves with the county. So with that, we do appreciate the opportunity. I'll keep it brief. Happy to answer any questions.
Got any questions? Thank you, Lee.
Yeah, a couple of things. So, okay, let me make sure I understand this, is you're not engaged in the lending, but you are a regulated or under the oversight of the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board and the SEC. How does that play into your function?
Sure. As a registered municipal advisory firm, we're actually precluded from being involved in lending. I know there's been some discussions in the past that we may be participating in loan financing or directing lenders. That is not true. If you've heard anything along those lines. Just like the cities and counties registered municipal advisors that are precluded from being involved in the financing, we are a registered municipal advisory firm. So literally it's against the law for me to participate in any financing or any loan that goes through the PACE program or any program that we administer. And as I mentioned before, we've done over $40 billion of financing nationwide. We've never lost a client, and we've never had a complaint or any charge brought against us with regards to any type of self-dealing.
Yeah, okay, you'd mentioned that, so I was just curious as to how that fit into it as far as that goes. And then, are there any current, in other capacities in what you do, are there any current, do you have any current engagement with anybody in Brazos County? I know you don't have them as as an administrator for property assessed clean energy lending, but is there anybody else that you're working with that's in Brazos County that is a developer currently?
Well, actually, one of the projects that was mentioned earlier was a project that we had actually educated that developer on PACE. They wanted to utilize Lone Star PACE as the property assessed clean energy administrator for their program, but because the county was moving along at a pace they wasn't meeting their need for financing, they ultimately had to go with the administrator that was already serving the county.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, so what potential situations do you see, since you're a different entity and you have your entire entity has a broad-based perspective in the services that you offer, since you are a registered municipal advisory? Are there any conflicts of interest that you have a concern about?
No, Lone Star PACE strictly does property assessed clean energy financing. We do not do any of those other types of programs through the PACE program. Our principals have done the other programs through other entities. So that's how we have the bandwidth and know the capital markets, because we've basically done this for 20 plus years nationwide. But the PACE program that we work with, Lone Star PACE, is strictly property assessed clean energy financing. No other program is run through Lone Star PACE.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is only in a capacity, the only capacity your company will be involved in will be in admin for property assessed clean
Absolutely.
energy lending.
Yes, sir.
In Brazos County.
Correct.
Okay, super. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else that, this is actually for the public too, is there anybody that's got any questions they want to come up and ask? If not, we will close the public comment section and then reopen at 10 o'clock with the regular meeting. Do you have anything, Counselor?
Not about that. Judge, just, we've got 3 minutes of sign up left for anybody that wants to speak in the regular meeting. But if you're up here waiting, we will finish you
Okay.
since we have such a tight schedule this morning.
Okay, all right, thank you.